Greetings, humans. Unknown here. This will be part 5 to What If Deku Had the Powers of the Sage of the Six Paths. In the last part, we went over the quirk apprehension test. The person who was in the last was the invisible girl named Toru Hazakura. Aizawa was about to expel her, but Deku stepped in to help. After that, there was a heroes versus villains test, or the battle trial as we know it. Many teams faced off and half of which won, while the others suffered loss. After that, Deku walks Hagakure home and teleports back to UA to heal All Might. That is where we will resume the what if. All Might is thankful for Deku. Thankful of Deku, and Deku is upset that he had not thought of healing All Might's wound sooner. Deku pays no mind to this and walks away. Once he is out of the door, he teleports back home and into his room. He plops on the bed and finishes his homework, showers, eats, and then goes to sleep. When he goes to school the next day he goes to school early, wanting to get to the teacher's lounge before class, and finds it a nuisance to teleport into a locked class, so he walks. But when he approaches the school's entrance, he sees a large group of people and flies up away from everyone to avoid them noticing him. He looks closer, but then, using a Sharingan, he sees that they are reporters. They're probably here to ask students about All Might being a teacher, and such. This is a real pain. Deku then makes 5 clones, positioning 2 at each turn into UA, far enough to not ward suspicion, and close enough to make sure that he gets everyone getting into the school. He can inform the hero course after a few minutes. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, my glasses are off. I can't read my script all that well. He grabs everyone. After a few minutes, he starts seeing people coming out and going to UA. Deku stops all of them before they can go any further and tells them about the situation. Most of the class believe Deku and wait for further ideas and instructions from Deku, all but one stop, and that one is Todoroki. Ida wanted to continue, but felt as though following Deku was the right choice. When Todoroki sees the crowd, he turns around and stands in a small group of people that are on his path to school. Deku then has an idea and tells everyone in the first 2 groups to hold on, and they teleport to the 3rd group, making the entire class in one streak. The interviewers start noticing the group of students are run over to Deku and run over. Deku tells everyone to grab onto one of his clones, or him, whichever one, and hold on tight. Everyone does so but Ida and Todoroki. They hesitate for a moment. Deku yells at them, "Hurry up and grab on!" Todoroki and Ida grab Deku, and they teleport into the classroom before the media can do anything. Deku then leaves and places a few clones outside to help the students of UA get by. Deku then goes to the teacher's lounge again and asks for All Might when he shows up. When he shows up, Deku just asks him about his wound, about how his wound is. And when All Might tells him it's doing better, Deku nods and walks away. All Might is used to this kind of pressure and tension between him and Deku, and he goes back into the teacher's lounge. Deku then teleports back to class to see everyone sitting down, and Aizawa explaining things to the class. When the class notices, Aizawa asks Deku where he had been. Deku then responds with, "At the teacher's lounge." Aizawa then drops the question and resumes talking to the class. Alright then, like I said earlier, we need to select a class rep. The class goes from the confused looks they had to being excited and started trying to compete with each other all of this noise is suddenly stopped when Ida stands up and yells, "I propose a vote system. This way, we'll be able to choose the best person for the job. We will also be unable to vote for ourselves because then everybody would do so." Everybody thinks about this for a minute and starts to think about the pros and cons until ultimately they agree with Ida's statement and take an anonymous vote. The poll is nearly everyone for Deku, but the person second is Momo Yayorozu with 3 points, or 3 votes. Momo is surprised that anyone voted for her and wonders who did it. Aizawa then tells them to return to their seats, and the class goes on. At lunch, Deku is sitting with Hagakure. Hold on, sorry, I had to check. My video is still going on. Sitting with Hagakure and a few others. God, my voice. My speech patterns aren't good today. When suddenly an alarm rings and a voice comes on. Level 2 security breach. Suddenly, a large number of students start running. Deku stops the third year and asks what's going on. The third year responds with, "It means an intruder has broken into UA's defense system and infiltrated." The third year then continues to run away, and the group that was with Deku follow him to the crowded mess hall exit, but Deku steps back a little to scope out the situation and sees that the alarm was set off by the media. Deku sees this and flies up and makes 50 shadow clones, and some people look up while running. Suddenly, Deku and his clones gesture to the people he was with to cover their ears a bit. When he sees that, they all do. He and all of his clones in unison with full force yell, "Calm down, it's just the media. Pay attention if you want to be UA students. Assess the situation and handle it correctly. Don't freak out, you're supposed to help the people, not run with them." Upon hearing this, the crowd calms down and leaves the area in a more situational manner. When the students go back to the class, the people agree with Deku being the class rep because of the display of being able to control the situation and take a leadership role given the opportunity. A few days later, Deku and his class are told that they will be doing a rescue training with 3 teachers, himself, 13, and All Might. He also tells them that they have a choice to wear either their hero uniforms or their gym clothes. When the class is in the bus to the USJ. They begin talking about quirks, going down the list until they come to Deku and they don't have a second thought about it. They all agree to each other that Deku is by far the strongest, with the strongest quirk. But when they ask Deku what exactly his quirk is, because of the wide array of what they've seen him do, he responds with a simple, "You are on a need-to-know basis, and as of now, you do not need to know." Immediately, everyone stops pursuing the answer that they want, but Hagakure elbows Deku in the stomach and he sighs. "Fine. Since you all are classmates, I suppose I can tell you the basics of my quirk. I have the ability to control elements and elemental combinations along with other things. Happy?" Hagakure looks at Deku with a slight pout but nods her head, and they go back to talking. Everyone has a collective thought about this and decide that they're definitely dating, but once you ask the pair about it, Deku and Hagakure have different reactions. Hagakure places her hands over her face, blushing while trying to get words out to deny the claim, and Deku just looks at her being what's her face, Suyu, and replies with a simple, "No, we're just simply good friends." Hagakure looks at Deku and turns a bit saddened. Deku turns around to see this and asks her why she looks like that. She then smiles and brushes it off, as though nothing is the matter. Deku doesn't trust what she said, but decides against pushing the question. When they arrive, the students go into the USJ and see a new face, the Hero 13. The students begin to fan over her, and Aizawa breaks up the fandom to announce that this is the USJ. The entire entrance speech and the introduction happened the same as in canon, and suddenly Deku still feels a disturbance in chakra. Ones he isn't familiar with, one stronger than most of the people he knows. And suddenly, a black mist shows up and a ton of villains come out, accompanied with a young adult covered in hands, as well as a well-tailored man made of a dark purplish mist, and a large bird-like creature with its brain exposed. I talk really quickly. For that one, I apologize. Wow. Okay, I apologize for going through that really quickly, but yeah, this is where I'll leave off the video for today. Side note, I forgot to talk about how Hagakure doesn't have the same hero outfit as before, due to the experiences with Deku. She now has an outfit similar to Mirio, where the suit's made from her, like, DNA, and in turn makes her invisible while still wearing clothes, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. Well, with that being said, I apologize for not uploading at a quick pace, but yeah, school takes priority. Part 6 will hopefully be out soon. Still working on the script and images for it, but yeah, that's it for this one. Sorry. Hope you liked it. And yeah, see ya.